want to cut the sharp cords of pain that are wound around our hearts. We all have thirsts and hungers and desires, don't we? Is there anybody that can disagree with that? It is no sin to put an end to that which troubles you and continue to indulge in that which pleases you. If we let others get in our way, then nobody can be truly happy. Do we want a world of misery? Or do we want one where daily we can experience every pleasure the world can vend to us? And we are called evil for this. We were the very people that created altruism and those very concepts that they worship. They are even more selfish than we are. If our sin is our devotion to ourselves, then their sin is their pride. As much as they claim otherwise, they always get something out of the favors that they do. Favors in return. Memorial statues and endless, undeserved respect. Oh, no matter. If you believe as I do, and want to join me on our righteous cause, then I have the manual for you. Filled with tales to inspire our unending quests for power, greed, and hedonism. Bleeding with the power we will need to show others our cause. The power to bring them to their knees and give us everything we've ever wanted. Alright everybody, let's talk about Paizo's new book, which is called Champions of Corruption. It's part of a series which I haven't seen the rest of, but what this book is about is evil in its entirety. Evil nations, evil characters, evil as an idea, how to integrate evil characters into your game and not have a conflict and do all the bad things like one of your players stealing another player's things and then everybody's unhappy. And all of those particularly unlovely things that have caused people to ban the evil alignment in organized play, and particularly in private games, games you just play at home. I personally have always held the belief that you should never ban anything, because there can always be situations in which it is executed well, and I will allow something if it is well executed no matter what it is. That's my personal stance, and I've kind of been meditating on that all day, frankly. So, what I like about this book is that it does exactly what I've just said, which is to make it acceptable and good, and to alleviate the fears of game masters and other players alike. I have told you before in earlier videos about my character Regengar. Regengar is a lawful evil dwarf, magus, hexcrafter, and whatnot. But the thing was, I didn't start him off as being an evil character. I started him off as a tormented soul, which could have been lawful neutral or something like that. But when I was making his backstory, it just seemed to make more sense for him to be evil, and the goal of his life was around security. It wasn't based around helping others or things that many good characters pursue. He wanted security. He wanted to be sure that other people wouldn't betray him. The point is, Regengar had a reason to be evil. He was afraid of betrayal, and because of that, he would take action and take precautions to make sure he would never be betrayed. He would understand the people around him, and he would train himself in self-defense, in many kinds of self-defense, physical, magical, and it almost possessed him, and it had more control of him than he had control of it. And that's what made him an evil character. This book really encourages players to make characters that, while they are evil, also do actions that make sense for their character and kind of encourage you to make better evil characters. On top of that, once you have your evil character that makes sense and works well within the party, there's a lovely suite of class options and feats and all those sorts of things to make your character embrace evil and use evil to further their goals and to get to that power, that greed, that ecstasy. My favorite thing from this book is the concept of the damnation feats. These feats are based around the idea of people making bargains with devils and demons and that sort of thing. So you make a deal with the devil, and then you get the feat Fiendskin. And that gives you protection, but the cool thing about it is that the more damnation feats that you get, all of the feats increase in power. So it almost is like the more deals you start making with these devils, the more they pull you in, the more that it entices you to keep those feats and not retrain them using the retraining rules in Ultimate Campaign. It kind of just drags you in and holds you there because you have so much power by now that you cannot escape it. You can't break this contract, and your soul will be eternally damned to hell or Abaddon or the Abyss. Which I think is a clever way to design those feats. Also, this book is particularly filled with various traits, particularly centered around evil nations and being a better member of those evil nations. So if you're a part of Razmirin, the city where... not the city, excuse me. The country, which is ruled by a fake god, a wizard who's just kind of deceiving everyone into believing that he is a god, you can have a trait that makes it possible for you to use your arcane magic to do divine blessings like casting Cure Light Wounds on yourself. Which is... There's nothing in your head. You can't speak. There's also entries on Cheliax, Nidal, let me look here, the World Wound, Rosmere, as I said, and Geb. There's also a feat at the very end of the book for summoning evil monsters specifically. There's various items directed towards evil characters, like a skin harp, a skin and bone and twisted hair harp that is as beautiful as it is horrifying. I found that one particularly interesting. And particularly for those of you who are wanting to learn more about Golarion and that sort of lore, there's entries on the various evil organizations of Golarion, like the Aspis Consortium, which is sort of like a conglomerate dedicated to gathering treasure and then selling it for a profit, and a ton of other evil nations and what their goals are. This is not my favorite book of all time, but it is a nice addition, and it really covers an important thing to me, which is allowing evil characters to exist, but in a way that doesn't disrupt everybody else's fun. Thank you everybody for watching this video. Next month I will be discussing Advanced Class Origins, because I will of course be buying that book since I'm such an advocate of the Advanced Class Guide. If you like this video, then share it with other people who would be interested in it, like it, and do all of the other things that people expect you to do. If you like my videos in general, you should subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Farewell. If you particularly like this video, then please share it with people that you... I'm dying inside.